Here we are once again, Hotel Barracuda. It's Tuesday morning, it's the Expat Club. I'm Ron Cartier, and as always, it's my privilege to interview our speaker today, David Nurse. Would you like to say hello to everyone?
How are you today?
Good. David has a very interesting talk on Aircon 101, which was relevant to everybody in the room, I've got to say it. Right? But what I liked, from a personal point of view, you started off with an unshamed plug with regards to the Ageless Warriors. Would you like to do the same, please?
Sure. I'm wearing an Ageless Warrior shirt today, and I was promoting Ron, the athletic director.
That's the one.
We had three types of sports. If you like to just move around a little bit, we have beach tennis.
Yeah.
If you want to move around a little bit more, we have pickleball. And for exertion, you can play racquetball. So they're played during the week. If you want to know more about it, contact Ron.
Mate, well, I can't go wrong. Got somebody else plugging, so thank you very much. But anyway, back to topic, all right? But you spoke about your background, because a lot of people don't know much about you. So briefly about your background again.
Sure. Well, my education is in mathematics at MIT, and then I went to school at Wentworth University in Boston for thermodynamics. And it's kind of an interesting combination. I could have gone into rocket science, but decided to support my family and get a real job.
And I know, we won't go into, but I know you've got a very big family, okay? And I think because of that, you actually started your own business, is that right?
I worked for a manufacturer right after school, which I got a really nice job. I was very lucky. Great company. I learned a lot. But I worked for them about 6 years, and then I decided with another friend to start a company. So I owned a business for about 11 years, actually two businesses at the same time, a sheet metal fab and an engineering division, which we designed very large projects, like we did one in Bath, Maine, for the Aegeus cruiser, Bath Iron Works.
You mentioned that.
In which they build ships, and they build them modularly. So they needed a 92-station welder facility to do that, which is quite extensive engineering design. But we were the engineers of record, and we also built it.
Yeah, impressive. See, one of the good things about expat, you never know much about people till you actually stand up, but very impressive. But anyway, back to the aircon. You mentioned that the first aircon was made in 1901, is
right? Mr. Carrier designed, came up with the first, what he came up with was the refrigerant to use to make it work. He had the concept, but when he came up with the right refrigerant, then he developed a workable, usable air conditioning system back in the 1900s.
And you mentioned the similarity between refrigeration and aircon.
Yeah, refrigeration, any cooling, whether it's refrigeration or air conditioning, is all the same. It uses a pump, evaporator, and a condenser. It's just the different operating temperatures and the different types of refrigerants to get the operating temperature you need for like a freezer versus a room temperature.
Yeah, interesting. And then you also plugged on in about converters. I found that interesting. You were talking about converters.
Inverters. Inverters, right.
Oh, written converters. Okay, so
no, inverters have been used for quite some time. I started using them in the 80s on a commercial level. And this is before the residential people got involved with it. But basically what it does, it controls the speed of either a fan or a compressor, which is basically a pump. And so what it does, it matches the speed of the compressor to the load in the room. So if you have a warm room, say it's 85, and you have that's a sensible temperature, but there's also a latent quotient to this, which is moisture. Moisture holds a lot of heat. So what you need to do is extract the moisture first, which is dehumidification, and then work on the sensible temperature, which brings the sensible temperature down to the room condition.
Excellent. Dear oh Lord, my eyes crossed there. Okay, very good. Okay. And then really getting down to what I call normal people, right? You start off with saying that there's two types of heat in a room. Is that right?
Two types of what?
Heat.
Heat. Yeah, which is the sensible and the latent. The latent is a Latin word for hidden. Okay. So basically, the heat is hidden in the moisture. So that's like if you're outside and you know, it's 80 degrees, but you don't feel that hot. You go out the next day, 80 degrees, but the humidity is 90%, and now you're really hot and you're sweating. The difference is just the humidity, which is added heat to the sensible temperature.
Interesting. Okay, and then you got a lot of reaction from people when you started running through some tips.
Sure.
Because most people are a little bit like me. There's an aircon there. You press a button and something blows out, and you switch it off when you're done. But the first tip you spoke about was a fan. To do with a fan.
Yes, if you have a room fan, which most people do, or if you don't have one, you should. You're running air conditioning. The room fans are basically a fan that operates at about a penny a day. And you can have a ceiling fan or you can have a floor fan. It doesn't matter. But by using a fan, you're going to reduce your energy usage and you're going to have better temperature control in the room. So I highly recommend operating a fan at only a penny a day. It's worth it.
Yeah, because most people, if you've got the aircon on, you switch the fans off. So
no, you run it.
Yeah, no, good for you. Okay. Then you spoke about filters, tips with the importance of filters.
This cleaning of the unit is important. I just installed 2 new units in my home, and what I did is I waited 2 months and I checked the filter. Now the way you do that, there's usually a cover on the front of the evaporator, and you can see the filter or you can pull them out.
Right.
And then you look at that. If they're getting to be plugged, you just take them in the shower or the sink, spray them and wash them off and put them back in. The idea though is to learn how long it takes for that filter to get dirty.
Of course, yeah.
Mine, after 2 months, I feel that's a good point to go in and clean the filters. The other thing is the outside. Always want to make sure there's no leaves or debris around the condensing unit outside, and that the coil looks clean. If it does, you're probably okay. If it looks dirty, it needs to be clean.
Interesting, eh? And then you gave some tips with regards to energy saving.
Yeah, the energy savings part is basically buying or using an air conditioner that has the most efficiency. If you've got an older one, all you can do is keep it clean. But you can do 2 things.
Interesting.
You can lower the temperature to your comfort feeling when you're there. When you leave, if you're leaving for a few hours, you're leaving for a day or 2 days, fine. If you're only going out to go shopping or go have a few beers or whatever you're going to do, you need to come back a few hours later, don't shut the AC off.
Yeah, interesting.
Raise the temperature. I set mine at 28 when I'm out of the room. You can go 29 if you want. The idea is, if you let the room warm up to outside ambient, when you turn that AC on, it works really hard to bring it down to temperature, and that's where your energy bill goes up. If you keep it so that the room is at least dehumidified and a little sensible temperature at 28 C, then when you turn it back on, it'll use a lot less energy to get down to 25 or wherever you want it to be normal.
Because most people switch the blooming thing off.
Yeah,
so,
it's a mistake.
Yeah, no, interesting.
If you look at supermarkets or stores and the lights are on all night, the reason is that it costs more money to turn them on and off, turn them on and off.
Of course. Yeah. Most people don't even think about it. No, that was very interesting. And then you spoke, if you're going to buy one, go through the descriptions. But a couple of things that I like was you spoke about this eco mode.
Right. So when you're selecting an air conditioner, I recommend you do your homework and look online first. You can go visit them at a store like Home Pro or whatever to see what's there. But online, you're going to find that they're 20% or 25% cheaper than if you buy them from Home Pro. Order it online, ship it to your house, and hire a contractor.
Yeah.
But there's different options. Just like buying a car, you can get the convertible, you can get the stereo system, you can get the chrome, or whatever. Well, with an air conditioner, there's all different types of options. Mine particularly has one that's called Eco Mode.
That's the one.
And it senses when I'm in the room. So it'll float the suction pressure up on the unit, which uses less energy when I'm not there. But if I'm in the room, it brings it back down again. And you don't feel the temperature difference, but it's a 40% savings on energy usage.
No, very good. Never even thought about this one. And then you also
They don't all have that, so you have to look for it.
You've got to look for it in the description. This one, and then you spoke about this self-clean mode as well. I found that one interesting.
Yeah, my unit has one of the things I thought was pretty good. I noticed that some of the units, other manufacturers are starting to use this too. Basically what it does, it lowers the temperature so that actually ice forms on the coil. And that ice grabs onto any dirt, moisture, whatever is on there. And then when it automatically goes back up the temperature, the ice melts and carries the dirt away. So it cleans the coil.
Yeah, fantastic. Really,
that's probably once every 6 months.
Yeah, and when you say Aircon 101, you think what sort of talk? But very interesting talk. A lot of feedback, a lot of questions, a lot of participation. Very good, Dave.
Yeah,
really.
Well, I'm glad everybody liked it. Yeah,
it was good. And so because of that, you get your certificate.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
On behalf of the Expat Club and the members, right? Fantastic.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah.
And for the plug on the Ageless Warriors.
No problem.
But we'll get you back again. Okay?
Thanks so much. Yeah.
So anyway, look, that's it. Once again, Tuesday, finished meeting every morning. Tuesdays, breakfast, camaraderie, fantastic speakers, interesting, useful tips on how we live our lives. See you next Tuesday.